obviously, I know you guys do a lot of work, away from the public view. Between Hoosier Hysteria and tonight, I mean, where do you feel like you've gotten better in these kind of live scrimmage settings?
Go ahead, Coach Martin.
I think for our young guys, I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to play in front of an audience. Curtis Jones and Devontae Green, we've talked about the atmosphere at Assembly Hall during the recruiting process, but really the last two opportunities were the first times that they've been able to play in front of an audience with people in attendance. So I think just, trying to get the jitters out and feeling comfortable in their own skin and in their new home here at Assembly Hall, I think that is a good start for our guys, I think.
It's very good to get them out in front of people once again, so that they keep their poise while they're on the court and really focus in on some of the fundamentals that we've been working on, some of the defensive coverages and situations that we've been working on all fall here. And so we made some progress. We've made some progress. We like to make a little bit of progress every day. But in basketball, you have to stay at it and take steps forward every day. So as Coach Martin said, the young guys had another opportunity to get in front of people, make simple plays, realize that when they get in the film room, they're going to learn some things and be better for when we get back out there Tuesday night.
Alex, with the quality of the opponent you guys are playing 2 weeks in Kansas compared to maybe what you normally see in a season opener, is the preparation, the intensity of it any different at this stage than it would be going into a typical season opener that you might see in previous years?
Our preparation is highly intense regardless of the opponent. So we've had a really terrific fall in terms of that. And it's good, for example, to get Juwan Morgan back because he started out with limited contact and now he's back in there playing with full contact. And regardless of the opponent, as a coach, and this will sound like coach speak, and maybe it is, but you wanna play at a high level either way on that. And so again, in terms of defensive fundamentals, it's making sure that we're in the spots we're supposed to be in, that our coverages are the same, time and possession after possession, and that we talk and communicate constantly during the possession.
Juwan was doing a little bit of everything on both ends of the court tonight, especially. I guess how much more valuable does a guy like that become given Collins' absence and given, I guess, just his versatility and potential to do so many things?
I thought last year Coach Crean did a great job with Juwan, preparing him throughout the entire season in their team squad scrimmages, white-red scrimmages. He would have Juwan be the backup point guard. At times he would have him matched up with Yogi Ferrell. And I think he's really embraced that versatility role. And a year later, you're starting to see, I think, a guy that can play multiple positions. And as you mentioned, with a guy like Colin not being there opening night, it's comforting to know that you have a guy that you can play at the backup 1 to 2 to 3, and then has the intelligence to execute all the offensive schemes, and then has the intelligence defensively to help the young guys with rotations against an opponent like Kansas in 2 weeks.
Mike?
I think Robert Johnson had double figures in both games, and his team won both games. He's not been cleared that long, and I think he played well in the Hoosier Hysteria scrimmage. Does it surprise you how quickly he's gotten back into playing well?
He's a tremendously hard worker, Robert is, and he worked tremendously hard over the summer with the things that he could do, even though that his surgery was in a healing process. He has a high basketball IQ, just like Juwan, just like Colin, and you could see that out there tonight. He understands spacing very well, and he got to space, and that team moved the ball to him, and he knocked down those open shots. So that was great to see. And one of the things you talk about, the progress that the team makes, Coach Crean really stresses the spacing aspect of offensive basketball, and Rob, now going into his third year, understands that, and James Blackman as well, and those guys are two awesome weapons to have.
A lot has been talked about OG in the offseason, but he was an incredibly efficient player offensively last year, just in terms of being able to hit inside and outside the arc. I think tonight he's 6 of 7 between the two periods. How important is it for him to retain that efficiency in particular?
No, I think it keeps defenders and defenses honest, right? If he can stretch the defense by being efficient outside the three-point line, it opens up the court. As Rob just mentioned, Coach Crean does a great job emphasizing ball movement and spacing. And if we can get OG to shoot the three ball at a very high rate, then it clearly opens up driving lanes, and he's one of our stronger guys. So, you know, on any given night coming out of timeouts, not only can we play him on a perimeter, but we can also play him in the low post where he can be as efficient as well.
One thing that OG does that sometimes goes unnoticed, but really is a key factor in games, is that when he drives it, he draws the pre-bonus foul.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can get to the bonus, obviously, the better for your team. And so he is very strong to guard, driving it down the lane line or driving it from the wing. And that's one tremendous improvement that he's made from last year, is that handle on a lane line drive.
With Devontae in particular, he seems very obviously defensive minded and isn't really backing down whatsoever. Do you see that kind of just as a whole in this new freshman class? Do you see kind of some similarities between them and OG and Juwan last year?
You know, I think Coach Crean was the one that really locked in on Devontae in the recruiting process, and you know, generally in the AAU circuit, most guys aren't looking for defensive possessions, right? But Coach Crean would always say, hey, that kid's got great hands defensively, guards the ball really, really well. And I know it's early, but it's starting to translate in practice a little bit. He has a knack for it. It comes natural to him. He can guard the ball. He's very active off the ball. I'm not quite sure if he can make the impact that maybe OG and Juwan made a year ago, because I thought those guys were tremendous, particularly towards the end of the year. But he's certainly, I think, heading in that direction.
How long has Juwan actually been back to full court, and why wasn't Duran able to play?
Juwan he's been practicing the whole time. He just hasn't been able to have full contact until just the last, week to 10 days or so. And Duran just kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit. He'll be fine.
Sam, just with Thomas in particular, I mean, how much more have you been able to throw his way just in terms of picking up different post moves? Because obviously when you're a freshman, you've got a lot to kind of learn there. But how much more complex has his post game gotten just over the offseason?
Thomas is really hard to guard in there, obviously, and so we have spent a lot of time in practice, and one of the things we'll get a lot out of in this particular film session is the post feeds inside to Thomas, because you have to really read those angles and get that ball to him where he can go in a scoring position. And certainly when you can play inside out with a guy like Thomas Bryant, it makes your team all that more effective and makes your shooters all that more effective.
Okay, guys, thank you.